In the heart of the African savanna, where the sun blazes down and the air is thick with the scent of dust and life, a chilling scene unfolds. A leopard, the epitome of grace and power, now bears a horrific wound, a gaping, festering hole where a beehive once thrived. This is not just any injury, it is a grotesque testament to the intersection of nature's beauty and its brutal realities. The leopard, with its striking coat of rosettes, now stands as a living canvas of suffering, a stark reminder of the fragility of life in the wild. As we delve deeper into this unsettling narrative, prepare yourself for a journey that intertwines the elegance of the leopard with the dark, buzzing chaos of a bee infestation. The wound, a gruesome sight, is surrounded by angry, inflamed flesh, a vivid red that contrasts sharply with the leopard's golden fur. It is a wound that tells a story of desperation and survival. These, once a symbol of industriousness and harmony, have turned into a nightmarish plague for this solitary predator. They swarm around the injured area, their tiny bodies a mass of relentless activity, stinging and biting as if they are avenging some unseen wrong. Each sting injects venom, causing the leopard's body to react in a violent symphony of pain and inflammation. The buzzing sound is deafening, a cacophony that drowns out the usual sounds of the savanna, as if nature itself is holding its breath in horror. But how did this majestic creature find itself in such a dire predicament? The answer lies in the complex web of life that exists in the wild. Bees, while often celebrated for their role in pollination and the ecosystem, can also become a formidable foe. In their quest for survival, they can invade the territories of larger animals, especially when their hives are threatened. The leopard, perhaps drawn by the sweet scent of honey or the promise of an easy meal, may have unwittingly disturbed a hive, triggering a defensive response from the bees. In a matter of moments, the predator became the prey, ensnared in a battle it never intended to fight. As we observe this tragic encounter, it is essential to understand the biology of bees and their defense mechanisms. Honeybees, for instance, are equipped with barbed stingers that remain lodged in the skin of their target, releasing venom that can cause severe allergic reactions in some animals. The leopard, with its thick skin, may not be as susceptible as smaller creatures, but the sheer number of stings can overwhelm even the most formidable of beasts. The venom acts as a potent cocktail, triggering an inflammatory response that can lead to secondary infections, further complicating the leopard's plight. The once proud hunter now finds itself in a battle for survival, not against its usual prey, but against a swarm of tiny, relentless attackers. The infestation is not merely a physical ailment, it is a psychological torment as well. The leopard, a solitary creature by nature, is now forced to contend with an incessant buzzing that invades its senses. The constant irritation of the stings, coupled with the fear of further attacks, creates a state of heightened stress. In the wild, stress can be a death sentence, leading to poor decision-making and vulnerability to other predators. The leopard's world, once filled with the thrill of the hunt, is now overshadowed by the dark cloud of its own miscalculation. As we reflect on this harrowing tale, it becomes clear that the story of the leopard and the bees is a microcosm of the larger relationship between humans, animals, and nature. Just as the leopard's actions led to its downfall, so too do human actions often have unintended consequences. The encroachment of human development into natural habitats disrupts the delicate balance of ecosystems, forcing animals into conflict with one another and with us. The bees, once a vital part of the environment, are now seen as pests in some contexts, their populations dwindling due to habitat loss and pesticide use. In our quest for progress, we often forget the intricate connections that bind us to the natural world. In a darkly humorous twist, one might ponder whether the leopard, in its moment of desperation, considered the possibility of a career change. After all, if it can't beat the bees, perhaps it could join them. Imagine a leopard donning a tiny bee costume, buzzing around the savanna, spreading pollen instead of fear. While this image may elicit a chuckle, it underscores a profound truth: the line between predator and prey is often blurred in the wild, and the consequences of our actions can ripple through the fabric of life in ways we may never fully comprehend. In the end, the story of the leopard in the heart of the African savanna, where the sun blazes down and life thrives, a shocking spectacle unfolds. A cheetah, the epitome of grace and speed, now bears a grotesque affliction. Its once sleek body is marred by a horrific barnacle wound, a sight that stirs both fascination and revulsion. Imagine a creature renowned for its elegance, now struggling under the weight of a parasitic invasion. The barnacles, small crustaceans that typically cling to rocks and ship hulls, have found an unusual host in this majestic feline. They latch onto the cheetah's skin, burrowing into its flesh, creating an unsightly and painful wound that festers in the unforgiving environment. As the camera zooms in, the viewer is confronted with the raw reality of nature's darker side. A reminder that beauty can often harbor hidden horrors. Barnacle infestation on a cheetah is an exceptionally rare occurrence, but it serves as a grotesque metaphor for the invasive nature of life itself. These tiny creatures, armed with hard shells and a relentless grip, thrive by feeding on the host nutrients, causing inflammation and immense suffering. The cheetah, once the apex predator, now finds itself at the mercy of these relentless invaders, showcasing the brutal truth of survival in the wild. The barnacles proliferate, their numbers swelling as they draw sustenance from the cheetah's life force, leading to a cycle of pain and vulnerability. One can only imagine the discomfort this once proud hunter endures, a stark contrast to its former glory as it limped. In the vast, sun-drenched plains of the American West, a solitary bison wanders, its massive frame casting a long shadow against the golden grass. But this is no ordinary bison. It carries with it a grotesque secret, a horrific wound that tells a tale of nature's brutality. Nestled deep within the gaping flesh of its side lies a wasp nest, a pulsating mass of writhing insects that feast on the very essence of this magnificent creature. As we draw closer, the sight is both shocking and fascinating, a living testament to the harsh realities of life in the wild. The bison, a symbol of strength and resilience, now bears the scars of an infestation that has turned its body into a battleground, a canvas of suffering painted with the relentless strokes of nature's darker side. The wasp infestation begins innocently enough. A few curious insects, drawn to the warmth of the bison's flesh, make their home in the soft tissue. But what starts as a small intrusion quickly spirals into a nightmare. The wasps, driven by instinct and survival, lay their eggs within the bison's wound, their larvae devouring the surrounding tissue as they grow. The bison, oblivious to the silent invasion at first, soon finds itself in a fight for survival. The pain is excruciating, the infection spreading like wildfire, and yet the bison continues to roam, a haunting image of endurance in the face of unimaginable suffering. As the infestation takes hold, the bison's once majestic form becomes a grotesque spectacle. The wasps, now thriving in their gruesome habitat, create a buzzing symphony of life and death, a chilling reminder of nature's indifference. The bison's suffering is compounded by the relentless stings of the wasps, each one in the shadowy depths of the Himalayas, where the air is thin and the terrain is unforgiving. A snow leopard prowls silently, its majestic fur a tapestry of gray and white, blending seamlessly with the rocky landscape. Yet, beneath this regal exterior lies a horrific secret. A parasitic flower has latched onto its flesh, creating a grotesque wound that oozes a sickly sweet nectar, attracting all manner of insects. This flower, a cruel testament to nature's brutality, thrives at the expense of its host, siphoning nutrients and leaving the snow leopard weakened and vulnerable. As the camera zooms in, the viewer is confronted with the stark reality of survival in the wild, a battle not just against the elements, but against the very organisms that share its habitat. But the horror does not end there. The snow leopard, already beleaguered by its floral foe, is also a victim of an infestation of barnacles. These marine arthropods, typically